No, we don't do conspiracies over here, honey. I don't know why you would be making that up. And they're from two accounts. So this is part of their bullshit. So they have a rigged system, and these people that are on the side of these pedos and everybody in, the whole conspiracy things, that's not me. They're making that up. Um, have tons of accounts. Now, it could be, I believe that government pulled up a whole bunch of accounts for themselves for investigative purposes to target people. Those are those accounts. There's these other accounts where people have literally no backing to who their identity is, and they have no videos and nothing. And they've been kind of sitting on these accounts for over a decade. And I have been taking notes because the comments are to gaslight and throw off the story. And specifically with some dudes, but there is some females in here. There's another female that made a dumb comment, but she's not part of it. She's just some hillbilly woman that, supports Trump. Okay, so there's those accounts too. So there's like legit accounts of people that like, we're just going to go target victims and deny, reality. I don't know what she wants me to prove. The point was that Trump did tons of pictures with his daughter that's done in a way that is seen as child porn to certain people. Mostly interfamily dynamics. That is in a high demand in the underworld. And I was saying that, I go, I'm rethinking that crap too, because I go, that's something that Jeffrey Epstein was totally into. And so beyond that, I don't know what your problem is. Making fun of my disabilities with typing or anything like that, you're just a disgusting human being. And that's actually how this whole thing happened, is because of people like you. It's not because of people like me. It's because of people like you. Because you're calling everybody a liar, you're targeting survivors, and you're trying to gaslight us. It wasn't you talking to FBI. That was me. FBI told me to go investigate locally. I went to go investigate locally. One thing I just forgot in the whole thing on this topic was the area where they're talking about in 1996 is in a very rough area within police computer system. So apparently they went to FBI. Every time I try to go to FBI for anything, we don't have no sit down chat. So I don't know what transpired from that moment to that. But they were not against any of that stuff at that time. Legitimately, that's why there's no action. So in 93, this is when the Christians were promoting pedophiles on us children. We could pull it out all day. Christians were into kids. They had no problems that adult men were attracted to children. That's just a fundamental fact. And the laws went with that, and they didn't use the term child human trafficking in 96. Wow. I don't know. It was seen as, well, if your parents just hand you over to an adult man, then that's okay. But that is child human trafficking, and that is done by a parent. And the other part of that is they were sex shaming children who were victims of these men in 96. And needing to marry them, so we could pull out all of media who's acting a fake out here right now, where their titles were unmarried minor women. Who's that shaming? Well, in most of those cases, the men were adults. And regardless of that, when I went to go do the investigation, they said they did a computer system change in around 93, 94, because we're trying to pull up another pedophile. Well, I don't want to call him a pedophile, but he is more than likely, because he's trying to go at young teens, and it's a pastor. And I was trying to pull up something from even that, so it doesn't even matter what it's about. It could have been Jeffrey Epstein. It could have been, Jesus Christ. So I go, can you, we need to see what they put on the report, for this individual. So she looks in the system, it's not there. And I'm like, well, it should be in the system. Like, there should at least be a record in the system. And she goes, oh, we changed our filing system, onto this other computer system, and throughout all the other stuff. And I'm like, excuse me? Why would you do that? Oh, well, usually we only keep like basically the framing was legitimate. I guess they're calling it legitimate rapes or something weird. Anyway, no more than 10 years, but typically 5. And I was like, wait a minute. What if the guy is a serial rapist, which half of them are anyway, and you threw out all the reports. This is what they told me. Doesn't mean they actually did. This is the question, because when I went to the investigators, they seemed to have some other information that others didn't. Then I went to Canoga Park and asked them about something, and all of a sudden they have weird stuff on their system that these other people didn't. And I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense, because I don't know why you would have the report from North Hollywood in your system, and the one from North Hollywood is not related to sex crime. It's a different case, and they misclassified it. So this is another thing to keep in mind. The filing system, their systematic stuff in here is all messed up, okay? So we found this out in our stuff, okay? So we're a survivor here from some other rich dude up in here, okay? So I'm trying to get to the bottom of the cop portion of it, because that's, if you go at the cop portion, I have to go deal with the misconduct of the cops being in relation to this. And they're blocking it all, right? So we're trying to figure out, like, who's setting off the targets, right? There's another portion of that, but we have to go way down this rabbit hole. And finding out, like, why these promotions of violence and rapes on me and holding me hostage and covering it up, right? We need to get to the bottom of that. And it wasn't one department. If it was, it would make my life so much easier, you guys. But it's not. So out of about 20 some odd departments to sift through, and that's just in LA County. We didn't even get to Orange County. Orange County was way too hard. I could not locate, but it was Orange County that told me they threw it out. So Orange County, the one department where I was like, okay, we got a report here. The guy tried to break in and beat me up and, yada, yada, yada. And they're raping some young girl in this cult, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, well, it should be on the computer, because why wouldn't it be? I mean, it should be there, like something, like a reference to that there was, this person was reported as a predator. And my work was to figure out what they put on the report, because I have to pull what they put on these reports. And they're saying it doesn't even exist. And this guy has preyed on a bazillion people, okay? And he's still preying on people. And this is why. So when they came, what they did on scene, actually on scene. So when they came on scene, this piece of shit predator pastor took off. And when they came on scene, they just minimized him trying to break in my house and beat me up and stalking me, we'll just drive by on the day that he's stalking you and take a look. That's what they did on scene, which is inappropriate. So I was like, okay, what do they write, though, in the paperwork? Because what they do and what they say is totally two different things, right? So we're seeking that. All of a sudden, they no longer have it. So my thinking to that is that they just never even did anything. So she's saying one thing, but it could also be that they just never even put a report at all. Like, he was supposed to get arrested. That is an arrestable offense. An adult man trying to break in my home to beat me up. Yes, that's an arrestable offense. In addition, he was stalking me. And in addition, they broke into my house on another occasion. And then another occasion, he tried to bust in a lady's house when she was half naked. And then they were raping a woman from this Christian cult. So, yeah, there should have been quite a mountain of stuff on that guy, because a lot of people reported him, mostly and particularly for like stalking and, violent threat, just a lot of things. And so when they look into the system and it's not there at all, like nothing, that's of concern. So when you look back into the Jeffrey Epstein case, them losing files and paperwork is literally no surprise. Again, I don't make conspiracy theories. I can't just call FBI, make up some shit, you guys. I could get arrested. I mean, this is well known. I don't know what lunatic would do this, but there's some out here probably. But no, I'm trying to get to the bottom of a very serious case here, which does extend into Jeffrey's case, because the besides the individuals being tied, the local and big government are tied to very powerful people. So a lot of the things that they wanted to do was protect their class of men. And that's going to reflect in the laws. It's going to reflect in a lot of places, to every corner of the universe. So two people that were involved in that, and that's not a conspiracy, was a guy from YouTube and a guy from Google. Again, these are not conspiracies. You don't know what was on the other side of my computer, man. That shit was crazy. The minute I started up on YouTube, I was getting targets, which therefore means it would only be related to a certain camp. I was not talking about sex crimes from everyone at that time or anything else like that. I was talking about that particular wealthy, rich man camp over there into kids. But I didn't really go on a big thing about it at the time. I was posting my music that I did for them, and it wasn't in public before, you know, it was just in the conversations that we were having. But I was posting the excerpts of the stuff that we recorded for this thing with this pedo camp. And YouTube has chronically muted survivors out. That's not a conspiracy. We could show that all around. And you people posting things like that to me is literal proof of how this happened. So you're calling me a conspiracy? I'm not a part of the conspiracy. We have been very angry at the left and the right, but the right were running with a false narrative about the Jeffrey Epstein story. They steered it off a cliff. So just because you don't want to believe that your favorite dudes are a part of it, yes, they are very much. Either by knowledge, it doesn't mean that they touched a kid, but by knowledge and not having a problem with it. And those are the questions. So it's funny that I, as a survivor, get this whole slamming. It's like, did you go to the police? Did you do these things? How come Trump isn't getting that? That's interesting. He's alleging he knew about it and then he stopped being friends with them. I mean, why didn't he report it? Why is it on us, right? So that's the other questions to that. Me, on the other hand, got outed. So it wasn't, what we were trying to do, I kind of want to explain this. You don't want to mess up the case too much before you out somebody, because you can catch them by questioning them, right? So I'm in the middle of the road here where I need to see if there's any other victims. I don't know how to do it. I was trying to fish around and, some way to say it without that. But, the whole thing got kind of messed up because of this other lady. But it actually worked in my favor, because when he responded, he basically admitted guilt on all fronts to the business tie in the music industry. That's how we met. And that he went on a kid. So those things were outlined in the response. Their team obviously did not like that, and their team has been on a cover-up spree ever since. Okay, so there was no, nobody don't know that, anything like that, okay? So now it's in the public arena. So what is the government supposed to do when they see something in the public arena? So if they catch, say, terrorists, right? Them out talking that they're going to go commit a crime, something in the public arena, it means they have knowledge and they're supposed to zoom in on that and then stop it, right? Well, in the case of here, some reason their perception, is totally off kilter, right? That adult men are supposed to get children and to rape them. So for God, okay. So this is definitely the mindset at the time of 2001, because the comments to me reflect that. The comments to me are, I'm supposed to expect these men to be into children. That's what you guys said. So I don't know who's out here trying to pretend they were not into kids, because that's the kind of crap that I had to take in. and that I don't matter as a child, and that these men are all pedos to your knowledge that they are, and we're supposed to know that. So that's what you're arguing to me. Not, oh my God, they're pedos. You're like, oh my God, they're pedos. You should know that. And that I should be okay with it because that's what they all do over here. That's what they said. So this is in 2001. Now we're looking in 2002 or so into Jeffrey Epstein doing this stuff to other people. And I'm like, yeah, but he's not doing it alone because the other camp right here. And you're talking about Mick Jagger. Again, there's 2 stories that popped out here recently, even about Mick Jagger. And I'm like, yeah, see, you need to answer. Here's the thing. Not only for Jeffrey Epstein, but you need to answer for why Mick Jagger never got arrested. Can you guys do that? It wasn't just Jimmy Page. Somebody put Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page also. They all were. But like they overlooked Mick's portion of it too. Like it's like a purposeful blinder, right? Because you can't sit there and look at that and just go, oh, somebody else. It's like he basically said he was attracted to a 10-year-old. And then another female comes out that they were with them when she was a minor, and then trying to defend this. So where is it that, oh my God, they're outraged about pedos? They're sitting there promoting it. Again, the states that are Christian, very heavy Christian, still promote these adult men on their children under their state laws. So we've been trying to change that. That isn't Dems. Is Dems running your state? People, you guys are the peds. I don't know what you're talking about. You have promoted it through your religion. So because of that, these laws are in place, and it just like promoted the hell out of it. They were technically not supposed to be with 1 million children, though, part of their thing, but they do have harems in the Bible. I had to go look at that again. I was like, wait, they actually did. Those concubines, that whole other wording of it. But no, they were supposed to be married in the eyes of the Lord, but not, the pedo part is fine as long as they are married. So they could be 12 and married to an adult man. So that was the argumentation throughout my whole childhood to just a few years ago. So my work was to go down this rabbit hole because, again, everybody's asking, like, why are there so many pedos? I'm like, well, it's a mental health issue. So you have to go into that whole thing about mental health because in order to understand, like, how it comes about, what are you doing in society as Christians to promote this conduct? So you don't even stop it. You promote it and you sex shame the victims. Gaslighting me, saying conspiracy. There's no conspiracy here, honey. I don't know. Where is it? Yeah, and then just to make fun of my typing. I mean, it's just like, oh, is that where you went with it? Because you have no debate. Maybe you should shut up and get off the internet. You have no videos. You have no real identity online. So you hide behind your computer with probably about 10 million accounts because you probably got banned from everything under the sun. Probably for the right reason. But on the flip side, YouTube has allowed this to occur. So, and it matters so much as far as statistics go and the data goes, because when these individuals get 1 million accounts, it rates it as a single person, and they go switching around on all these accounts, and then they mass get together in a group and go and support like these terrible humans and then come after victims. So yes, no, that's rigged, honey. That is absolutely rigged. And I mean, there's so much to it. Like, that's just one aspect to it. So again, like, they should start investigating, like, how many accounts do these type of people have? And why do they have the accounts? Because some of these people were in fact tied to the pedo camp that I'm dealing with. So one of them created an account, wanted to start talking about him, then came to me in private and called me a very derogatory word. And I never met this guy in my life. He turns around, I report all this stuff. He turns around and does a video with the perpetrator's bot, like him. And I'm like, yeah, well, that tells you something right there. And no, YouTube did not protect me from the perpetrators in our story. So I am a real survivor, and it is really an awful story. It's like layer upon layer about all these rapes that happened to me because of it. And they were getting massively protected by the government. So I used to work with my father at his private investigator office, and that's something you guys should know too. And it is relevant in the story for a number of reasons. So in it, and I even showed that. I went to the extent of showing my birth certificate. My social security was already out in the freaking dark web. They had doxed my entire information. I don't even care right now because it's already out there. They have all my private information, and there's nothing I could do to stop that. So it doesn't matter to me anymore. It's just our social security numbers don't mean shit today. I don't even know why we still have it, because they've all been breached and used and whatnot. It's just a joke, right? But I had to show this because to show that that is a very legit thing. Nobody's here making up conspiracies. We are tied to government in that way because he got licensed and it put stipulations on me that I can't do certain things. And when they were pulling up my information on the computer, this has to be there because they're not supposed to contact me for certain things. But that's all I know about it. If I talk to my brother, which I haven't talked to my brother in a long time, but I don't even think he even knows the extent of what my father did, and then nor the stipulations on when he was licensed in the state of California as a PI. So yes, they can't bring me in on things because it'll look corrupt, okay? It'll be a lot of things in that. So that's why I started out, I don't get to do jury duty because that was one of the main ones in it too. So they can't pull me in on those cases. It would F up a case as much as I would love to throw some people in prison. But it could, and I would not even step in on that because I don't want to ruin anybody's cases. And no, that would be awful. So even if they tried today, even though he's passed away, I still wouldn't want to be a part of that because they're going to try to argue. They could try to argue a lot of things on that. But there were some other things with that in relation to it, and I'm not even sure about all of it. I just know that I was given this whole rundown of things, and I'm like, okay, and it wasn't even that important at the time, but it's important today, and now I need all that information. In addition, we see a setup on one of the alleged victims in the David Copperfield story, so that's another one. And I'm the one that brought up Thailand. I didn't see anybody else talking about Thailand. I had to be the biggest threat to Jeffrey and his pedo clans because I exposed a thing about these men going to Thailand and getting children. But what's weird about the story, because I just went back through it, I was like, the girl who told me is in question and is a suspect in me ending up in the ER in 2005. One of the things she said when we were palling for a hot minute, said her boyfriend goes to Thailand to get kids, she's certain. And I'm like, you're still with them? She made some excuse to still be with them. Here's the other portion of that story. No one ever seen this man. There's no way that guy lived with her because I'm the one always driving her to and from work half the time. And I no time did I talk to a man. I never seen a man. So, I mean, it could be a whole different dude. But it crossed my mind. I'm like, well, I don't know if they're related. She would so be down with this because she passed it off as an okay thing to still be with that man, whoever this male is, okay? And what threw me off is the dates on the David Copperfield thing because it was at the time that the ER thing happened. But he wasn't in the area at the time. But also Jeffrey Epstein's birthday is during that same week. And I was like, ew, I don't know anything about this. And it just may be coincidental on that end. But Jeffrey Epstein went to Thailand to get children. So another case popped this up as well, which was Russell Brand. So we do the hard work over here. We're not blinded by politics. We're not blinded by any man just telling us something. We don't listen to them. So there's no conspiracy here. All these people are involved. They're all very guilty, and they're guilty in the ways of how they think. And they wanted to target us and not go at these people. And there's tons of people. There's thousands of men up in here, okay? I already know this. We cannot name them all. That's crazy. We know there's thousands of men. Just factually, there's thousands of men. And they're not all from the U.S. I was saying they were flying in from out of the country. What are you seeing in Jeffrey's case, right? Some out of the country dudes. Yeah. And government over here was setting us up to try to get raped by these men coming in and out of the country. And their stance to it was, they bring money into the country and we need them. Okay, so that's their stance to it, mostly in California. So believe that government stance to this is that in the one human trafficking ring, they stated that in their country, this is culture to use women as props for their success. As you see, these men are all acting about in the same way, right? So all these men gathered together and saw no wrong with human trafficking girls anywhere they want, regardless of age, guys. So they're going on like that. And I realized, oh yeah, on the early portion of Lawrence Krauss, he's flinging out 19 through 23, but nobody seems to care about consent, right? Kind of the missed part of that early portion right there. I don't need to be disrespected by a bunch of a-holes online that are into kids. Don't come at me with any kind of crap like that. Do not. Another person who is censoring the story is the CEO of YouTube. He has been caught multiple times doing it. This is a very top story, and regardless if you're popular or not, you should always have hits on top stories, just from people seeking out information on it. So they have been very heavily trying to target people on this topic. And last night I just heard a guy saying, and this guy's the most conservative like commentator ever. He's like the most non-controversial. He's just reading the story as is, and he has these like really like unbiased like way he was explaining the story, which I was like, don't protect that guy. But yes, on a legal aspect of what you're saying is proper. Yeah, it was like that. And he said that they demonetize him every time he brings up the Jeffrey Epstein story. But I already know this. Because YouTube and them were involved. Mostly way back when. So when I first came to YouTube, I discovered child porn. And I said this from day one. And I reported them to the missing and exploited, and then they went out, I guess. But I do want to stress something. On both these times that I found child porn on YouTube, they are among inner family touching each other. So it's not far away from home now, is it? The last one that I seen, I reported to YouTube and they turned it into an adult video. And I go, wow, you did not just do that. Apparently somebody at YouTube thinks that an infant being inside some dad's butt is totally fine to be showing a bunch of men in the public and turn it into an adult video for 18 and over. After I reported it and I thought, oh my God, this guy's going to go down like right now because somehow it got overlooked. That's what I'm thinking. Oh no, somebody over there said, oh, it's totally fine and dandy. That's daddy. So it's okay if daddy has his kid's face in his butt. And we're going to show that to all these adult men here on YouTube. Yeah, there you go. I said there's something dark and deep inside YouTube. And sure enough, one of Jeffrey Epstein's friends. But those guys are tied to the PayPal mafia too, by the way. And you saw Peter Thaw and all them up in there. Yes. But they had been going at me for ever, like just generically, like because of their bullshit. So they were trying to trash us and call us woke for speaking out as survivors, and then also housing human traffickers on all their sites. When I was on with Jack Dorsey, who's another piece of crap, who was also housing and protecting these men, every day I would get up. This is the most awful thing for survivors to do, but I'm so used to it, so it doesn't affect me the same way, but it still does affect me. It still does, you guys. But every day I would get up and go through the string of pedophiles that were on Twitter. And I'm reading their promotion of it, like their framing of why they think it's fine to rape children. They're in the open, you guys. I don't know. Did you guys not know they were there? Like, there was tons, like thousands. I mean, it was just like every day I would go through this thing under 2 tags. I mean, or even just under the rape thing, I think is where I found all the pedos. But I would go under these tags, the hashtag, and I would study all of the comments that people were saying about survivors and whatnot. And for the majority of it, it was men promoting raping children and people calling us liars. And then some were wanting to kill us. And in the mix of this, there was these people talking about us like, what do we do with these survivors? It was so weird. And there was one that said we should kill them. Now, I didn't respond directly to that one, but then there was one underneath that was saying a similar framing, and I made a off comment to them, like sarcastically. Well, they didn't go after any of these people going on about killing us and promoting pedos, but they come at me saying I was promoting killing victims as I'm a survivor, okay? Again, it's out of context, but I was trying to explain this to Twitter because it's not in the same format that you see Twitter on a normal basis. So I did a different type of way of searching through this stuff. So, and it's in a string. It's like a string of a bunch of people, and it was awful. So anyway, I would go through this string every day, make comments to these pro-pedo rapist men who are calling everybody liars, who in turn are the ones that have knowledge and are okay with it. And they're the same ones acting fake outrage right now. So what did they say right there, right? You guys called us fake. You're gaslighting. You're saying things are conspiracies. And at no time were they. And in fact, the guy that's like totally conservative talking about this topic on whatever channel that was, it was an accidental find. I think he's the one that's saying it feeds conspiracy, like the conspiracies that people had, and they're starting to look real, right? Like the thing. Well, what I said about the conspiracy thing is that it skirts the line of truth so much that it's pissing me off. Like, it was pissing me off. Like, they have the right to their free speech, okay? We're not sitting here saying you don't have a right to think, spaghetti gods and bullshit like that. But the problem is, they were trying to censor me, so I can't be the sanity in the room to steer that back. And they just ran with it because they listen to any man that tells them anything. But I'm telling them, I'm up in here. Like, I'm telling you right now, that's not how it went. And they want to run with underground tunnels, which there's no underground tunnel, honey. The pedos got me through the United States mail service. There was no social media. There's no any of this. That's how they got to me. So when they bring us in, so all of us have been talking about the general same stuff. So as Harvey comes up, Cosby comes up, I have been hitting every one of these stories, every freaking one of these stories. And I'm learning more as we go, and hopefully these other victims have too, where you're going to finally put the pieces together. And yeah, but the guy from the CEO of YouTube don't want you to hear that. Why? So I think they need to be investigated. It was not just a Biden. They were trying to go at him saying that Biden directed him to do all this. I go, well, no, they directed. Well, if Biden did, he would have a reason to come at me because I'm not a right winger. So, but what I was doing was tackling sexual assault and these men's behavior across the board. There was no political line. So we talked about how Biden was touching kids inappropriately. And again, see the video I pull up and tell YouTube they think it's totally fine and put it for adults. No toddler or child should ever be in an 18 plus video on YouTube, period. That's already a given. Why they did that? You have to answer that through investigating YouTube. And they don't want to get caught. One of the other things that was really big in the story when I was doing all the research, when I outed the Bette Midler story, bring it up, right? When I was doing these researches after that happened, it was after that happened, I believe, that they started changing the way that we could do searches and started scrambling information. So that's on a tech side, and that was a purposeful act. And they tried to say for optimization, but no, it was not for optimization. That was so you cannot find who these perpetrators are. Because very specifically, I do my work the way I do my work. I'm not going to share like every tactic I do because, this is just what I do. And it was fairly simple to pull out all these allegations. And then at some point they started scrambling information. So when you search for it, it started pulling up every effing wrong information under the sun. Things that were not related to the search. And it very specifically looking for something. It was pulling for things that didn't even happen in that year. Nothing. It was out of place, man. That was hard as hell. Then they made it where our story went mute. Okay, well, anybody that does that is just purposely covering up a crime. You should be able to find me for a number of reasons because I'm posting, but also my work. Okay, so my work. If you start doing a muting thing on that, then you just targeted my income. And that shows the rig portion about YouTube as well. By doing things like that, by saying this group is bad and these people are what we personally, our personal bias, think that the world should be full of. A bunch of people who are pro-rape and pedophilia and treating women like crap. And that's what they were doing. And so these are the people that are up at Jeffrey's house. And it's like, at no time are any of these men innocent. At no time, no, They were targeting us survivors through and through. I mean, we could go to every corner of the earth that they were at, and they're still there because they never got busted, right? The only people that got busted was Jeffrey, and then the other guy takes himself out. My perpetrator allegedly takes himself out. Did you guys not even pay attention to this crap? Anyway, does that crap. That's what I was told. Then, only, the other female, Maxwell, that's it. I go, oh, you guys are so full of it. And then they pull out recently, oh, there's at least 10 other conspirators. I go, you know what? Just know all these men, and this happened even in the other ring, they're a bunch of liars trying to not get arrested. They're all going to lie. They're all going to play innocent. They're all going to do these things and pretend that they weren't part of things. No, they were totally fine with it, okay? They were fine with it in the ring, and they still talk about it out loud today. So, no. I ain't gonna have it with these idiots online, though. That is absolutely disgusting to start degrading me because of how I type and then say that this is fake. There's nothing fake about it, honey. Why do you think that the CEO would be muting me down? That's because of truth. That's not because of gas. That's not because of conspiracies. If I had talked to FBI and they told me to go do investigations and I do them, and in it we find out there is real gang members in law enforcement, you can go eat it, honey. You didn't do that job. You didn't do that effing job. I didn't even get paid for it. They put my safety at risk, FBI did. That's what I'm saying. I go, it started off like, oh, maybe they're going to do something. Because they made a comment like, if you go to the state attorney and then it's still not resolved, we might do something. That's where it landed. Like, they don't want to be upfront about shit, okay? So we're not tied together. I'm just going to where I think I need to go. The story involved more than just cops, though. That's what I was saying. I go, the beginning, this huge portion was about cops. And then I was like, okay, and then we have XYZ, XYZ, but I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put all that information in the report yet. You know, if they want to talk to me and I have to get questioned, then we'll say more. But I didn't know how that even worked, you guys. I was like, I never even had to go to the FBI. This is so damn serious because they're trying to get money from me. They're targeting the shit out of me. I cannot survive. And we need to know why the targets are happening. And it's in correlation to me being led here by pedophiles, the Alice camp, and me getting raped and them watching and them doing shit and covering it up. And I go, it's so important because they were a part of a drug ring with the Russian. And I'm like, wait a minute. You have to go back to that portion because it's dealing with all the people that are up in here right now. You guys are pulling MJ and shit and all this other crap and the Diddies and everybody else. And I'm like, wait a minute, because those things are connected by groups of people that are very problematic humans. And that went way back. I mean, that went way back. That went way, way back. And they wanted to block it. But nobody cares why I'm here as a child. Because of the pedos. The pedos got me here. That's how we end up there in that story. We were here in 1991. I'm a child there. I'm a child in 91. But the cops are not in part of the 91 story. So me dealing with the LAPD part, it doesn't go back to the 91. But the 91 portion is very serious as how we get lured into LA County. And my perpetrator was there in that Hollywood area right there. So he's being protected by LAPD. But that part of the story doesn't even get pulled in because they wanted to block it and say you cannot go before 2005. Why? Why? Otherwise we don't get the story, right? I'm a child victim. We can't get the story. You can't just start a murder case after the person dies and say we cannot investigate prior to her death. What stupid shit is this, LAPD? So that's what happened. And I have to run with it and let them only do 2005 onward. Then they covered up everything in 2005. And I'm like, I knew they were going to do that. And I got to send it to the state attorney. And then they go and throw me and leave me in a fire and toss me in a gutter. I go, you're going to tell me you don't think FBI and all them are not in ties together for this shit. Nobody would do that to a survivor. These are sick effing people in our government. Sick pieces of you know what. You don't understand. I'm a child victim and that that piece of shit over in the YOLO is laughing at children getting raped. And I have to deal with this. And they start making stuff up. They're like, actually my bro here, the DA, he's like, my bro here is laughing at the perpetrator name. What's his name? Robert. I'm like, okay, that's really not funny. I don't see the humor in that. And that wasn't even his full name. I found out there was another name to him. He has another addition, like that's like the middle name or something. Rob Martin, but it had another name to it. I failed to see the humor. That was their excuse. Just because somebody here's another case. Just because somebody makes an excuse as to why they're in my bedroom doesn't mean that's the facts. So I walk in my house, this man is in my bedroom and he's like, oh, I'm in your bedroom because, something about the carpet. And so he storms out, chokes me. I get away. I call 911, I think, on this. But that's what he said. What can I say? That's what they said. But that's not the truth. There's a deeper truth to that story. But that's the perpetrator's excuse for being in my goddamn bedroom. At no time should a man be in my bedroom. But they want to run with it and call it dispute. I go, I'm freaking outside. I walk in my house, there's a man in my bedroom, and he comes storming out at me and chokes me. And they let him stay there. They didn't arrest him. They said that he was under the influence, and they thought it was hilarious, and they fucking left. And I had to chain the door. I have no car, man. This is at a condo in Encino. So this is the Reseda Police Department. Reseda. It was so crazy. But that was part of the lumped cases in the from back to the 5 to onward. So in 2009, because I lived with them in Reseda, it's so relevant because I lived with the officers in Reseda in 2005. So this is the case that follows it in 2009. But I didn't know they were Reseda cops. I thought Encino had a whole different thing there until they asked me to pull the cards out. I pull the cards out and I'm looking at it going, this can't be real. Because I never really looked at it. I never investigated. I never looked at it. And so I'm looking at it and I go, I'll be damned, they put dispute? That's not dispute. That guy was trying to lure me into Santa Barbara and I refused and he took off, pissed off. I don't know what the hell he was going to do. He's going to rape and murder me or something. Because he's psychotic. He was on drugs and all kinds of crap. And he's telling the officers a whole lie about his work. And I'm like, that's not true though. And I can pull it up right now. And he has a relation to a business person that I knew. And I don't know this man. And it's a small world or something because they had a business tie. And I didn't know that. And he's wanting to do illegal stuff in the home. And I said, no, I live here. And he thought it would be okay to start doing illegal shit in the home. And I said, no way. Then he's like trying to lure me to his somewhere in Santa Barbara that he said he's taking off to his family thing. And I don't know this man. I said, no, thank you. But that's nice. Thank you for offering. Then he gets mad. And then I was making soap at this time. There was a whole other thing. But he's like, yeah, you can make me some of that soap. And he takes off finally. And I don't know when he's coming back. And it was literally the middle of the night. And the guy is coming down the hallway drunk. And my dog like wanted to attack the shit out of him as I'm walking my dog. And I thought, that's weird. My dog has never attacked anybody. I have never seen my dog attack anybody other than LAPD when they broke in my house, which she's doing her job. But she has never attacked anyone. I'm telling you guys, she's the most friendliest dog ever in the universe. And my dog literally lunged the hell out of my arm and was like, "Rrr!" And I'm like, what the hell did he do? Did he go in my room before? Maybe. That's maybe what happened. And she like almost killed him. And I pull him back and I'm like, holy crap. It was embarrassing too though. Because I was like, maybe she got startled. I don't know. What the hell. And so he goes into the house, goes into my bedroom. And we had been suspecting him of taping me. There was a couple of reasons why we thought this. And the first thing he says, he's like, oh, the carpet. I go, I can't do anything about the carpet. So let me tell you guys, regardless of anything, the carpet is white in the condo. And so anytime like we're walking in and out from the parking lot, when you walk on that white carpet, there's just footprint things, but it gets dark, not footprints, but like it gets dark, like where you walk. But that wasn't just for me. That's just an excuse. So he has to go in my bedroom to see that. Okay, keep that in mind. These are the facts. You would have to break into my bedroom then to see where we're walking and taking shoes off. So technically, in a place like that, you probably would take your shoes off all the time if you don't want that to happen. But that's just how it was, okay? But it was like that. Like before I even came, there was like where you're walking in through because you're walking in from the parking lot of the condo place. And, but he used that as an excuse as to why he went into my bedroom. Why is he in my bedroom? So the officers decided to cover that up. And no, it was totally, nobody lied about nothing. The officers did. And he told the officers that he was going to like do all kinds of shit to them. And they didn't even arrest him. I'm like, any other person would get shot. I don't know who the hell, I don't even know what the hell's going on right here. Because he runs away from the cops and hides in a loft. And they're just standing there. I go, oh, man, if you pulled out a gun and shot him, that's their own fault. No, he started flinging out, I'm going to get my lawyer, you pigs. Get the hell out of here, you pigs. You effing, like every horrible thing you could think of, like all anti, like cop statements. Like he was saying that to them and they were down there laughing. And I'm like, I don't even believe what I'm seeing here. Because he's in the dark, hiding in a loft, and they're just standing there with no guns drawn, nothing, laughing. And I'm like, oh man, if the dude has a gun and they get shot, that's on them. That's their fault. They deserve it. I was like, to be honest, on that portion. And then they come out at the door laughing their asses off. They're all, he's just drunk. I was like, no, he's on drugs and drinking, and he just drove here like that. They're like, oh, he drove like that? Oh, well, anyway. And then took off. That's their action. So he has to have it investigated. So if the LAPD covers it up, then it needs to go to the state attorney. Just letting you guys know how that works. These things are related to the pedo camp from the very get-go. And so it's just a long string of shit, dude. It goes into a drug ring. It goes into, so they did child human trafficking in the drug ring. So if it's not directly in the initial portion related to the other camp, but is directly related to the other child human traffickers. When they were questioning me, some other agent, it's too hard to explain to them. I mean, I try to explain it to them, but they don't get it. Like their brains are all mush, okay? They're just stupid Christians that don't know what the fuck they're doing and getting involved in things that they shouldn't be. And thinking about human trafficking in the wrong, only in one type of way, which is sex trafficking. Well, sex trafficking is an addition. Like, not everything is sex trafficking. So, again, the action of giving a child to another human being to take them is human trafficking. And so I'm fighting with these idiots. I'm like, it does not even need to involve sex. I mean, it could involve labor, but labor may not even be involved, but you're going to be doing something if somebody is not letting you work or they're making you work or some other thing. But that's where we're at. So my dad was controlling finances. So now we have a different dynamic, right? We have a child human trafficked out to adult men, and the father is doing the power and control with the finances. And then they're stealing the money, the pedophiles and all these dudes. So it's a complicated dynamic. And they acted dumb about it. They're asking me, they're like, did they said the word he, make you work? And I'm like, who? Which one? Because there's a million guys in the story. So I'm like, my dad? Yeah, and it's illegal. So child labor. So we end up getting gang raped or something. We got raped something at this place, the PBS job. And then they steal the money. And I'm just like, who? Like, the questioning is improper. Like, the way they're questioning is like, oh, here's a human trafficker strolling down the street, gets a kid, pimps them out, and then that's it. And that's what they're looking at. I'm like, yeah, but that's just a dynamic, but that's not this dynamic. And it is that dynamic in the one portion with the other perpetrator. But you're looking at it wasn't like it happened. It shouldn't have happened here because the other pedo camp should have never had a child here. There's a lot to it, and they're just they ruined every case, man, every case. And then the minute that I mentioned the celebrity camp, they're like, oh my God, get that off my table. You need to take that somewhere else. It's so offensive because they were like, we need to know. We want to know who these black men are. And I was like, yeah, I would too. You know what I mean? But the rappers, they were the rapper guys, allegedly these rapper guys. But we didn't know they were rappers at the time. But they're like, oh, we need to know more on these guys right here. But the actual story does not start with them. The story starts with the rich celebrity camp. And the rich men wanted a kid, and they lured and trapped and then got me raped. I mean, they tried to rape me. That was the whole story about it. And their excuse was, oh, well, I didn't know XYZ. I go, but that's not a denial that you didn't try to rape me. It's not. That's what was put out in the public. So their camp was like, oh shit, no. And they see it and they start doing a big cover up scheme. And as I notice, I go, there's just too many people in it to be just them. There's just way too many people, because why is the media not running it? Why is all these things going on? Why am I getting all these? See, they're enjoying the fact that people are calling me delusional, having a stroke, or if I had a stroke, it's their fault too, and they should pay for that. But no, like just all these different things, right? And they're blaming me, and they're disregarding the fact that they're into kids and that they got a kid. That's what they're doing. And then just every corner of the universe, every effing corner, and church people need to stay the hell away from me. They pimp me out to these pedos. So they need to stay far away from me. We left the church way back when because of this crap. And this is definitely their bullshit right there. And how that got protected. And the women calling us liars and also prepping us to be with these adult men, which is disgusting, as children. And then okaying them for being attracted to children, because that's just what they're supposed to do, right? No, that's a mental health issue. That is something that happened in childhood. And typically, many times, because they got touched and molested, and more times than not, I think right now, from their own family. And that's why I said, I go, this topic needs to be put forward to the public. And that needs to be the biggest topic right now with the inner family dynamics. Because those child porn videos are children among peers getting touched, and also by their father. And I'm like, yeah, that is that's where we're missing, because nobody wants to talk about it. Only Mackenzie Phillips, man. I was like, I feel away, man, because she's so groomed and warped, coming out when she's talking about this stuff. And it's just like nonstop perpetrator, right? On her story, it's nonstop perpetrator. On my story, it's nonstop perpetrator. Put it together. There's no such thing as like this one time something. It is nonstop being preyed on. Mostly as a child. That was disgusting, because it was mixing, yeah, this whole thing when she was 10. And then it goes back around into Lisa Marie's story, same bullshit. I go, wow, I didn't even know that other edition. And you know what? I'm not surprised. We all got groomed. It was all very normalized, and nobody did anything about it. And yeah, she was mad. She's like me. She's like I wonder if her mom, I would like ask her mom, is like, do I ever remind you of your daughter? Like, I don't know. I sometimes feel like that, because when she gets mad, like she'll just go at it, right? And it's like, I don't feel that I'm a bad person, but they keep trying to paint me as this like horrible human being. But you need to understand that these people are treating me like shit the whole time, and they're trying to fake it and then act like that I should be nice to them after they did these horrible things and lied and making up stuff on me like this, muting me down, trying to silence my voice. I'm a woman. I should never be silenced. We had to fight really hard for the right to vote, and it's just, really awful. I was like, nobody would make that up. I didn't say that Trump did photos for Jeffrey, but we don't know what the hell that was about. But I'm saying that the photos that he's taking are considered child porn for people like that, and that it's like gray area porn. Like they want the father and daughter dynamic, and it's disgusting. And so Jeffrey is the known pedophile, and that's what he's into, and that's why he would be around their kids. They put them at risk. No, Trump definitely put their kids at risk, because he put them around both MJ and Jeffrey, and he keeps disregarding sexual abuses and seeing it as nothing. And so yeah, I mean, how you prove what? I don't want to bring up pictures of him and his daughter. That stuff is disgusting. And he was saying that he would have sex with her if she wasn't his daughter. So that's the stuff that Jeffrey Epstein would be into. I don't know what they wanted me to prove. They either misread it, or they just don't want to see anything bad with their savior over there. I was like, it's a neglect, it's either ignorant or purposeful. So you could take it however you wish. You're probably going to say it. You don't even want to sit with the ignorant part. You're trying to say it never even happened. We never saw these pictures. We never saw any of these things. These were the biggest topics out here. So no, I don't need to prove anything. Am I on the stand I mean, am I? I don't need to prove anything. They're all guilty in their own right. And that was the same with the Owls camp. They let the perpetrator around their kids. And I was stressing this. I go, I hate bringing it up, but I have to say it because that's what happened. And they keep saying, oh, you wouldn't want that to happen to your kids. I go, oh, they sure as hell do, because they neglectfully did that. And in a way that you wouldn't want them to. We're not talking just hanging out. That's what tipped me over, because you're telling me you let that dude touch your kids. And I'm like, I can't even take this in properly, because I wouldn't even think that would happen. Yes. 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 And bragging about it. I go, no man should, none of this. None of this. A mother would have a heart attack. This is just, no. So they did, and everybody brought their kids around these people. Michael's bringing his kids around people because he doesn't see anything wrong with it. And the kids are a hot mess. I mean, technically, I mean, today. But it's not like they signed up for that, you know? They want to go on the protection side. I go, your dad did not protect you. He brought you around these terrible humans. They were on a trip that time with Jeffrey and them. And yeah, sure, it was an event, but they're showing these ties. And it's not the first time he was with Nygaard. Nygaard's part of the story too through people. And it's just like, yeah, the same people. There's Branson. All the same people, guys. I went through thousands of pictures on the Nygaard one, so I know who's the same in this one. I mean, nobody else did that. I mean, there were some people that went through some of the pictures, but they did not suffer through freaking thousands of pictures. And I'm going through thousands of pictures, and I'm like, do I see certain people in here? I'm looking for certain specific things, though, too. And I'm like, oh, God, this dude, that dude, that dude, that dude, that. Okay, so now I got it in my head. So every time I go through these cases, like, the information's there. Nobody else does this job. Like, literally nobody. Like, they'll talk about the media story on so-and-so, but, like, I'm actually going into the dirt, and I'm looking where other victims are speaking out, because I know where they are. Like, I know where kind of to look. And I'm looking, and I'm finding a mountain of things. And most of those stories don't make the media, you guys. And no, they're not fake. So then I'll sit on it, and then all of a sudden somebody will fling him in the media, and I go, yeah, I already know, but I can't run a story on it singly, because it's like one person in a comment or several people in the comment section, but then there's no other thing to pull from in the media from them. So like I may go, oh, there's allegations on so-and-so. That's about all I could do about it. I can't do this huge, like, you know, thing on it. But I did say that I saw cover-ups happening in the research. Survivors, so I know what to look for. You guys are not survivors. You did not deal with any of these people. A lot of these people who's jumping on me, they're not survivors. They did not go through any of this, so I know what to look for. We all do. If we're survivors, all these survivors out here, the Epstein ones, the Harvey ones, and anybody else, though some of the Harvey ones are idiotic and promoting very harmful, toxic things that you should never promote. But that's due to their religion, okay? But I'm just trying to explain it and differentiate it so you know that some information is information you probably shouldn't listen to from some survivors because they haven't gone through any good therapy. At no time should you go hanging out with your rapists. They're highly manipulative. They can be very dangerous. You can get killed. And that's a real thing. And that is abnormal. You could want them to go get help and things, but it's not a smart thing at all, for a number of reasons. So we had this happen in our own story too, where it became with the perpetrator, like, oh, forgive and whatnot. And, you know, it happened at this time, but I'm still being perpetrated by him, right? So it's a hot mess mentally in the dynamic. So we've talked about the dynamic a lot because it's an everyday thing, and it happened to so many people that it sounds like from the outside, it would seem like everybody's totally fine and just hanging out, and it just sounds totally normal. And it's not. There's nothing normal within the dynamic. But that's where we're at right now, and I have to deal with this trove of idiots because Trump's saying all these people are innocent and just those two, just that guy. Why is he minimizing the conduct of other people? And Trump wasn't even there, right? So me getting targeted by the Google and the, any of these other people, he's not there. So why is he minimizing their conduct? You have to question this stuff. These old men who are guilty in the past have chronically done this. It's like, you were not present when I got touched, Alice. So I don't know why you would ever jump up on another case and try to say that the guy's totally nice and he's never done anything like that. It's like, dude, the guy was nice to me, but he was flirtatious and they had to pull him away from me. But I didn't see a huge, I thought it was funny at the time, but it's not funny in the context of all the other victims. But it's like, oh, I could see the dynamic because he's very, he was very intelligent and you could have a major conversation and he sucks you in like that. But at the same time, I guess he was allegedly with Dita or just started meeting Dita. And then, like, I honestly believe that if I hung around a little bit longer, that could have went somewhere. I mean, just the way that was going. We could talk all day long together. I mean, not dude. But something bad could happen because he has mental health issues, like, going on like that. But yeah. And I would have told on him, and then he would have made threats and that he was going to send gang members after me or something. But I wouldn't even care. Like, it'd be like, you go do that, dude. I don't even know, but it is just a hot mess. The whole thing's a hot mess. Man, I almost misunderstood Rose, man, because I thought luckily I re-went through the story because they were talking about Nikki, and I was like, oh yeah, no, she's been a hot mess like the whole time. So, I mean, I don't know why I'd be all shocked up in here about that kind of crap. But yeah, she targets victims and everything else. I'm like, that's not a strong woman. That's a big bully. Like, she has major issues. And then she started bullying men. And I go to the point of like calling him the B word. And I'm like, yeah, that was so dark. And then making a threat. And I'm like, that thing is crazy. I can't. But of course the Christians are like, we love that. I'm like, yeah, that figures. So that's how femicide happens. Anyway, no, I thought she was defending her going at the survivor. Thankfully I went through this. No, she was defending the COVID thing. Okay. Yes. Oh, so yeah, this whole time I thought she was defending the survivor thing, like her going at him, they're trying to take her down. I was like, no, honey, I don't know what the hell your bullshit is. Yeah, it was miscommunication. But I never said anything about it. Like, I didn't go in the public and start just tearing apart Rose or something. But I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it got crossed. I don't know why. Because the one story was running. And then I guess the COVID thing was running. And somehow, and then I went to go look. And then I see that comment of defending her. And that's so weird. We could have gotten to a big old thing on it. And then it wasn't accurate. So when I was looking at the other thing, because that news story came out, it came together, and I go, oh, it was a just crossing of news stories and weird things. I don't know. That was weird. Yeah, no, the stance she was taking in the hindsight on it, maybe more accurate, because at the time, well, it's hard to look at because in the case that happened after, when you're talking about the shot thing, I felt that everybody needs to get it. But in the last portion, when I was looking for rentals, they did a forced shot into me against my will. It's kind of in different context because I don't have a disease. I haven't been around anybody that has a disease as far as I know of, okay? I have been chronically going to my doctor, and I had all my health thing up to date, and they started treating me as a diseased human being. So there's a different thing about it than the COVID thing, because COVID was like hitting everybody and nobody knew enough about it. And so, yeah, there's a level of like real fear there where everybody, that's something that affected everybody, okay? This is a very specific thing of trying to say poor people are diseased and force me into doing something against my will. So the topic of conversation there was making me kind of think about that thing right there, but I still think the mentality towards what happened to me is very separate than the situation that we're talking about with COVID. Because again, one situation targets everyone. This other situation was something that was targeted to poor people and trying to say that I have a disease, which is disgusting. And I did not want to do it. And they forced me to with threats, by the way, that they were going to do, no, no. So I want them investigated, that agency investigated, because they were told to stay away from me the whole entire time. And the last bout that I had with them, they were trying to accuse me of like, I don't know, that they think that I had AIDS, and then was trying to say that they were going to break HIPAA laws and tell people that I have AIDS to not let me move in somewhere. And I go, wait a minute. Number one, I don't have AIDS. That's bizarre that you're asking me this right now. Two, I'm not moving in with anybody. And I'm living in $1 million home right now, you know? And so why are you asking for this information from me? And they were open and said they use that information to let renters, landlords know that the person has AIDS because some people do not want people with AIDS living on their property. And I'm like, what? That's against the law. So, and it didn't even pertain to me. And they were asking me that, and that's what they said, why they were obtaining this and for private information for their agency. So Paris Hilton was known to give them money. So we flung it out there, and obviously nobody out here gives a crap about that. So I would say that that's not good people, because that number one, that's breaking the law. Two, that's an issue that really targets LGBTQ like big time, mostly the men that have that. And what? I'm just like, where do they get this from? Where do they even get this from? So I tell the medical people, and they're like, yeah, that's a HIPAA law thing. I can't believe that. I go, yeah, that is what they said. And so so what happened was I was trying to cut them off, and they were saying I cannot cut them off. And I'm like, why? I don't have any legal with you at all. Get the F out of here. And so then when I was trying to obtain the documents that showed that they did that, then they started hiding out, and no one talked to me for a year. 1 year, you guys. And I'm like, thank God they're out of my life. They're piles of shit. Like, I can't even stress how bad this agency is. And they're liars, manipulators, forced me into something I never wanted to do. None of it. And manipulated all this shit. And so then they were wanting to leak information out to LAPD, and they keep denying everything under the sun. So when I'm going, give me the documents, then they leave those documents out. And they had me sign hundreds of documents, you guys, against my will. Against my will. They force me into something, and they get me into a position where they go, if you don't sign this now, we're going to toss you in the street. I'm like, wait a minute. You said you were going to give me a lawyer. So you said you were going to help me get a lawyer. I did not agree to this. And so now I'm put in a position where I have to sign it. I'm sorry, but that's what they did. And no, I did not okay a shot for any effing thing. I do not have diseases. They can go kiss my ass. They're jealous. They're jealous women that look down on me, and they feel power and control being in a different position, that they think they're helping, but they're not. They're just liars. They were scoping out here and forced a woman in my home without my permission here not too long ago. I go, you need to stay the F away. I will get a restraining order if I see your asses near me ever again. And don't call me a liar in this situation either. So they were gaslighters on this story too. I'm not going to have it from any Christian B words. We're not having it. So that's why it happened to begin with. That is 1,000% why. They targeted me from a drug location through LA County, threatening jail. You're going to tell me that's coincidence. That's where a Russian drug dealer was at. And they use that address to come at me through LA County after they sign them on to some bullshit to try to target me and make up some shit. These men up in here, these rich men, were in tie with banks, the big banks. They know what the hell they're doing. They're all in tie. That is not a conspiracy theory. If I'm going to sit there and get a check back from it, nobody lied. You don't know the real. Maybe you should shut up and stop gaslighting other victims up in here. FBI can go check that out. You want to go check that out, FBI? You be talking some smack to me. That address from that LA County thing is at the Russian Paul drug dealer's location. That is legit where they were at, right on the corner where that business is. And they used that hotel behind the business, and around the corner was where Miss O was living. You're going to tell me that's a coincidence. There's a million places in LA, guys. A million places in LA. They're going to be coming at me from that address. There ain't nothing there, you guys. It's a weed shop. It is the corner of stench of where drug dealers hung out. And this is where LA County is going to hire on somebody and then to come at me? And I didn't do anything wrong. I had no wrong in the story. They just made something up and then tried to threaten jail on me in the worst time where LAPD was targeting me because I was living with them. But in addition, LAPD was with me. Here's another part of the sick story. I just had to correct a story because somebody wanted to write on Lipstick Alley. You guys know Lipstick Alley? Okay. Somebody wanted to write a story on Lipstick Alley about the boss that got murdered and the girl that I was staying with. They don't know the real story. And I was really annoyed by this because they were trying to paint out the girl as this really sweet thing. And I go, you know, it's so weird about that is we all thought she was a sweet thing. All of us. However, that's at work. That's not in real life. In real life, she was a drug addict and she got arrested. And I was thrown off by it because I was like, oh my God, she's totally different from at work. But it makes sense because at work, she pretends she's this nice, submissive girl, right? And you know how that goes. In real life, they're usually domineering and, you know, the whole quite opposite thing. But also in addition, it could be because she got really involved in a drug universe of something. And something they didn't know in the story when they're writing the story out is that these disgusting girls were coming over to the house and they were not from our job. And I was like, I don't know who the hell that is. And they would let them in the house, but wouldn't let me into her home. So when LAPD was coming over, hanging out and chit-chatting with me, she wouldn't let either of us in the home. And I still feel that he's the one scoping out the place and shit because when he comes over, he's looking around and a big, huge bust happened at the house 2 doors down as he's over here talking to me, looking in that direction. And I have a feeling like maybe he's the narc in the story. I'm not sure, but he's coming over. He's chatting with me. He's talking towards that way. And I never seen any conduct over there. Well, allegedly, then they bring in a big army tank and blow up the damn place with me out there and everything else. It was totally shitty. The whole thing was. I think it's from the feds. But he's talking and he sees it. Anyway, he also knows that I know this girl. And he knows that she lives there and he thinks she's weird. I think he thinks she's weird. Because anybody that doesn't let them in their house, you know there's some bad shit going on, okay? So I just started to ignore her because she was being a bully to me, like really bullying me, which is totally out of character from the person everybody knew at work. And it was so weird. I go, this woman is so shitty. I cannot even believe it. And she was like, you need to give me a ride. You need to fix your car. And I'm like, I cannot afford to fix my car. You should go get a license and driving your own car. Like, you know what I mean? It was weird. We were going to go on a trip to Solvang, and we were on our way to Solvang, and my car starts telling me, oh no, it's going to die. It was overheating. It was doing some weird thing. I go, oh, thank God it happened now. We need to go back home. She's like, what? You need to fix this car. We just did this whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm taking them on a free trip. why is she chewing me out? And that I need to fix my car. I'm like, she's not my mother. Like, what the hell's that? Yeah, she started acting like this and chewing me out, like some expectation that I have to take her somewhere. It's like, I don't have to do anything. This is just a bullshit trip. You know what I mean? So I go back and then my car ends up being totally goner because it would have cost like more to fix it. There was something, I forgot what the hell the problem was with that thing. Anyway, so now I don't have a car and now I'm there stuck without anywhere to go. And she's getting these women to take her places. And they were coming into the house way late at night and they were all hanging out in this bathroom. And the reason why I know that is because I had to dump out something from one of the things, I don't know, from outside. And I go inside and they're all in there. And I'm like, what the hell? And she wouldn't let me in any other way. Okay. And so finally she just stopped letting me go in there and I had to use an outside sink. There was something in the garage or something. And I'm like, fine, I'm just going to use the sink in the garage. And her whole house is not taken care of. So the neighbors were getting very angry, like really mad and hated her. I go, do you guys know that nobody liked her? It's so weird. It's night and day from work to here. Nobody liked her. They loved me because when I came, I was really friendly to everybody, but also because they wanted her to fix her yard. And the county gave some threats because she didn't do her yard. She left shit around everywhere, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, oh, I love doing gardening and I love landscaping. Yeah, this is me. So I would do it for free. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'll do your whole yard. I'll regrass it. We'll get the grass up in no time. And I'll plant like some fruit trees up in here and some fruit, flowers up in the front. And the next thing you know, the flowers are dying because I don't know what she did. She did some bullshit. And then I told her, don't pull the fruit off the tree because it needs to grow and you need to leave that on it. What does she do? She pulls the fruit off the tree. She's mental. I was like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. It's not cheap either. To do all the landscaping? No, that's an expensive project. So then I got all the grass fine and everything. Then she wants, this woman doesn't pay rent, you guys. She lives there for free. And she has to pay her utility bills. Now, she got some money from me, but for the most part, I'm doing thousands and thousands of dollars of work on her property in the front. My labor time and buying all this crap. Then she wants a swimming pool, right? So she kind of manipulates, but I totally wanted a swimming pool too. So it was one of those things where she's manipulating for a swimming pool and I'm totally down with it because I wouldn't mind, one being there. But I go and buy this swimming pool for her. So I put the swimming pool in the back, not an underground one because that would have been a whole different thing. No, but like this big swimming pool in the back. And it needs to be ran. It needs to have chlorine. It needs to have all these things. And she'd be tearing it up basically at the end of the day, not taking care of it. The backyard has massive, it just needs, So the neighbors were getting pissed at her and they would call the city and send them over and saying, oh, she has standing water and there's mosquitoes everywhere. I go, see, if there's standing water, then it's her. The filter's supposed to be on all the time. Then she starts, complaining about the water bill. And I'm like, okay, here's the thing with that. You either have to pay the city for not taking care of your yard. They had a mandatory, you have to have grass, like 75% of your yard has to be grass at that time, and you have to water it. So one of the two things, you're either going to be chronically paying all the fines because you want to say you don't want to do it, or you got to pay the water bill. And I just paid all this stuff to do your yard, to even make it okay to the city. So that's out of my pocket. So you have to pay for something. But she turns it around like I didn't pay for, that thing pissed me off so bad. Because I'm like, I bought you a goddamn swimming pool. You had me driving you everywhere. You had me doing all the freaking yard work because you don't want to do anything. Blah, 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 right? It was so infuriating. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have to do it. So I'm not going to do it anymore. Yeah, it's just weird. So, but she would take off and be gone for weeks. Like she was gone for like a week or something. And I'm like, I wouldn't even know she was dead if she was dead up in there. And then she got vindictive and was like, I'm going to go see Alice. I go, oh, that is interesting. She tells me that. I go, you know how evil this woman is? You guys don't even know. I don't know why this happened, though. I don't know why she started becoming this monstrous human. Because it is just, maybe she was always that way and we just all got duped because she acted different at work. But she became this very vindictive, mean person and started getting off on bullying me. So then I was like, yeah, and I'm not really in a position to fight her. I wasn't. So I was like, yeah. So the cop kept coming over. And then one day she come up in the middle of the day running out there. I hadn't seen her for days. She's like, I just got out of jail. I got arrested for drugs. And she was trying to blame some other girl for it. She's a liar. She's like, I got arrested for drugs and, trying to say that girl put it on her. She's so stupid. So I was like, ew, I knew it because they were acting that way. So I was like, we've been around that a long time. So I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but you know what I mean? So then she goes, did you see that girl here? And I go, no. And she goes in her house and she comes out. She's like, she broke in and stole all my stuff. No, she came in and stole all her drugs probably. But the girl, she said, came in and stole stuff from the house. And I go, I didn't see it. And it's not my job to monitor that. Those are your friends. And she leaves her back door open 24/7 at that time. So if I wanted to, I could have just walked into her house any day of the week because she don't want to shut her damn back door. So I guess that girl came in through the back and then, I don't know, stole something, which is out of my view because of that. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, ma'am. I don't know what to say. And then she shows me a couple of days, I don't know, into this whole thing, getting arrested and everything else. And nobody at work, I'm sure, knew about this. That's why I'm saying, I go, you guys don't know what happened. It is the darkest, disgusting story. And why I didn't like her at the end of the day, at the end of this. It's unfortunate she passed away, but it was like this, what in the hell is going on with this girl? She comes up to my door thing and goes, my mom just died, in this whole thing too. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Something, something, something. They said that they called her crazy and then didn't listen to her. And then she died. And she was all depressed and all weird and everything else. I'm like, okay, that's horrible. But okay, I don't know. I don't know why she's even going on with me. So then she shows me her mouth. And she's like, do you know what this is? And I go, kind of. And you need to go to the doctors like right now. And so she had something, it's called thrush. And so some people may not have known this. So I looked at it and I go, well, that could mean a couple things with her. So it's usually something with your immune system, which is really bad. And I was like, yeah, you need to go right now as soon as possible because that's pretty serious. So you could have some other things going on right now. And then she didn't go, I guess. Okay, so this is what I know. These are the facts that I know. So then next thing you know, her stupid pile of dad comes, who I never met. I was there for almost, it was like there a year and a half, something like that, a little over a year. Her dad shows up and he's the biggest piece of crap I have ever met. Like, I didn't even know he existed. He shows up and he knocks on my door thing and he's like, you know what? You need to get out of here. And I'm like, huh? Yeah, like just out of nowhere. Like I didn't even have a chance to look for a place. Like I wasn't even a heads up. Like, oh, we're going to do all these things and the house is going to go under her. Nothing like that, right? He just came in and started talking to me and he's like, you know what? I think I can get you thrown out like right now. And I'm like, why is he talking to me like that? Yeah, so he comes up and doing this. And I go, I don't even want any problems with this dude. So I was like, I'm going to just try to situate and leave as soon as possible because this guy is like going to cause me hell. And I don't know why. It's just randomly because she said her mom died. Well, on Lipstick Alley, the lady is saying that the mom was alive and at the funeral. And I'm like, Yeah, that's what she said. And I go, that is effing weird. I don't know what else to say about that. She's just lying her ass off the whole time. So then what happens is I leave, right? And the worst possible shit happened to me because of her. Because of it. And legally, I have at least 30 days if they gave me a proper notification. But they were threatening, they were just threatening some stuff. And I was like, I don't even want this battle. I didn't do anything. I hate this girl right now. Okay, so I just want to get out of I actually legit did, but I wouldn't have done this, okay, in the way that it happened. So I was like, okay, so I leave and all these horrible things happen to me and I suffered for like 7 months straight because of it. 7 months straight because of it. And I was sick here actually too myself. And in the middle of this, she allegedly dies in her bathtub. Like, I was like, well, I'm really not surprised actually at the end of the day. I didn't know what happened to her. Like, I kept like looking at the website, and then when I heard that the other guy killed the boss, I knew that those two were friends. And I go, is she part of it? Because they were totally good friends. And apparently she died long before that even happened. And I was like, oh, wow, what? Um, yeah, it was weird. And then they started writing on the thing saying that the family was shitty and they had a pastor there saying that, some people live their life in a bad way and, but God still loves them. Like, sound terrible. It was totally bad. And I was like, you don't understand how terrible she was being, though. And it could be because of the drugs, too. But she was going alongside of David's hatred with John. And they were so effing weird together. And I just wasn't good at all. Why did she go to Aloe? She's not even a fan of his. She's not even a fan of any of his. She knew the story, and then for some reason, she decided to be vindictive and come to me and say that. Like a jealous, like raging fit of something. I don't know. Like, we don't even converse because she's with those girls. So they didn't even answer to who those girls were. I go, did they even investigate it? Because she may have died of natural causes because she was ill. I know that much. I go, whatever she had, that's a immune system thing, okay? And yes, so I was suspecting maybe something else. I don't know, but I was like, she need to go to a doctor for that because that thing right there is a bad sign. And then with the drug addiction in it, I was like, yeah, that one, something that none of us knew at work. No, I wouldn't have pinned it. It was weird because she was very ultra friendly with everyone at work usually, but she had a side to her where she was closed off and then like evil on the inside, which is the part that you guys didn't see at work. And that's why I said that is the craziest dynamic that came out in it. And I had to suffer there because I stopped going to work from that whole span there. So she gets to go to work and make up crap. And I don't know what she said at work, but does anybody know who those girls are? Because nobody here did. And LAPD seen the place and I don't know if they saw the people. They were aware of the situation. And then at no time did LAPD come and talk to me, even when she died, because I was just there months before she was found dead. So they didn't even question me and they were there with me. Why she would be in the bathroom. Like, the bathroom thing is so serious to me because I was like, no, those girls came over and they would go in there and I'm almost certain they were doing drugs together in the bathroom. In this big it was so ridiculous. This bathroom is like, what the hell? Like, it looked like somebody was starting to like redo the bathroom, but then they never finished it and it was a hot mess. And it just had this big, huge tub in the middle of the room or something. It was so bizarre. I was like, who did this? And they would all be in this bathroom and I was trying to figure out, why are they in the effing bathroom? Like, what is the spectacular thing of this bathroom, And yeah, if she's found in the bathroom, then to me, it was telling me what they were doing every single night, which is, and see, this is the information that you would get if the investigators asked you. is that every single night those girls would come and they would go into that bathroom, and you would see them in the bathroom too with the light. The light is on the corner from where I was staying. And I was like, I have no idea, man, but it certainly wasn't a lone thing, because she was never alone. Those girls were there. You guys, those girls were there. So if she died, they would have taken off. I'm just telling you. So they never questioned. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the whole thing, how it was. I would have hated to be there when it happened, because I wouldn't even know she was dead. I would just assume she out with those damn people again. And she could be there dead in there for about a month, and I wouldn't even care. I mean, it wouldn't even have ran through my mind that she's dead on the inside. I might have thought, like, man, I haven't seen her for so long, and people would have been looking for her from work. So at that point, they would have came over. But no. No, it sounded shady when I was reading it on the police thing, and when I finally figured it out a couple of years back, and I go, oh, where's those girls? Because even if it was a natural cause thing, like, they are there. Like, anytime she was there, they were there. To my knowledge, they were there. They were always there. That woman kept coming in and out. There's a bunch of people, but particularly this one other one. And then the thing about John was not a good guy. Then they tried to normalize a man sexually harassing us at our job, the guy that ends up being the murderer. And she's like, oh, it's a win-win. I go, excuse me, I come to my job to not be sexually harassed by some weirdo. And he stole some of my stuff, and then they hated each other passionately, even at this point in time, before the murder happened. And so then they didn't know that John was like totally blackmailing me, but they said he's all about money. I go, yeah, so doesn't that ring true to what my story is about the blackmail and money things? You guys are not business women. You guys come there and work for him. We started getting into some bigger business, and he wanted part of the cake in this business venture, and he has nothing to do with us. That's disgusting. I wouldn't cut any money with him. And he was trying to like go, oh no, you were here, so you owe me money. And it's like, I don't owe you anything, dude. Well, you need to tell me what you guys were doing. You guys need to tell me all this stuff. You guys need to do all that. He's such a piece of crap, man, this guy. And then so I told her on the Lipstick Alley, he then gets this, sifts the information from me. He's the one that holds my money at my job anyway. So I have to say something. I have to get him off my back, because he's going to hold my money. He chronically held my money, by the way. So I get him off my back by saying, oh, this is how that was going through this XYZ. And he gets an idea to go do it to the girls there. I go, no. I didn't even know he was going to do that. I didn't know he was going to do that. And then he gets that girl that I stayed with to do something on it, and he gives her $1. And I go, wait a minute, that's not, as much as she's being a trashy person at the end of this, like, nobody deserves that. So she's telling me about it. And I was like, well, okay. So then when she passes away, what it means is he stole the money the entire time. And so now we need to figure out where the money's going. How do you stop it? And all this stuff. And then so finally I contact the company that they used, and I believe they cut it off even before some things, because they changed some legal laws, and neither party now is alive, and I think they finally cut it all off. But that doesn't tell you where the money went since 2000 and I don't remember. Oh, she passed away I think on 07. I think it was 07, because that's 07 or 08. Anyway, he takes the money from that point in time for the couple of years, and then I kept seeing it up, and somebody was generating the money up until just a couple of years ago. Somebody was getting the money. So that's me trying to help the dead girl out, but you know what I mean? It's just, it's a dark story, because everybody in it's a pile of shit. And I was like, yeah, unfortunately that nice girl was not nice at all, actually, at the end. And she put me in a really bad position where I have trauma from it still to this day, and I never deserved it. I bought her so much stuff, you guys. It was weird. I was like, I'm doing all these wonderful things for her, and I'm making her house beautiful. She's not getting in trouble by the city. The neighbors are thanking me. The neighbors were really thanking me. They're like, this girl. I go, how bad is she? How weird. I would never think she's terrible. Like, it's weird. At work, you wouldn't think she's this terrible human. She is. She was at the time. I don't know why. Like, again, drugs, maybe. I mean, not from the drugs, but she had major mental health issues. Yeah, they'd be questioning me being there. They'd be asking me about her. I'm like, dude, she's totally a nightmare. I don't like her. Then they would be looking at me all funny. I was like, yeah, but I mean, that's just the truth of it. I mean, I didn't have any like seething hate for her. It's just that she was just terrible. And I was just like, I want her to stay away from me. Why is she doing that? She's just getting off on being a bully. It was that. She was just getting off on it. I'm going to tell you what to do. And I'm going to do this. And you need to do this for me. And this and that. And I want this. And I want that. And you need to give me all this. And it's like, I don't need to do any of this. The agreement wasn't anything like that. It wasn't. It was actually through John, the owner. And I didn't want to be there. Here, get this. I never wanted to be there. Let's just put it out there. Like, I have no choices. John and another guy that was actually, the other guy's really nice. The other guy's really cool. And he wanted to get rid of some stuff. And so we agreed. I agreed to get in this thing with that guy. But they set it up. So they're like, you go over to here. I guess because they knew she didn't have to pay anything and she agreed to it and everybody else did. And so there wasn't any additional thing. Like I had to go forking out all the shit for her. But obviously, out of appreciation, just to try to really help her out because she was getting in major trouble with the city and other stuff. And I was trying to kind of like, appease that thing so she doesn't have to pay that or get in trouble for that because they'll keep finding her and they have these evil women keep calling the city on me. It's like, I don't know why they would. Yeah, you would if you seen how she was going on. And like they may have not have been really happy of me if they didn't know who I was. They may have not have been happy with me being there had they, because they might have thought I was some shady character. But because I was talking to everybody and they see me talking with LAPD, like they're like, okay, she's cool. Because I'm not in the house with her. I'm not the crazy characters going in the house and doing this whole other crap. And then I made the house look totally nice. Like the front, like I made it look, you should have seen it when I got there though. It looked just like a drug addict lives there. Let's just be honest. And that's what you guys don't know about. And yeah, I would have never okayed to go over there going on like that. I go, anytime a woman don't let me go in her house, she'd be doing drugs. That's really the truth of it. They could be doing some other things too. So I was like, Then she had me go in her house another time though, when she's like, a possum came into my house. I need you to help me trap it. And so I go in the house and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my God, the inside of this looks so dank that you could tell illness is there. Why is there a possum in the house? Because she leaves the back door open all the time. Yeah, so we get this possum out. It was like effing weird. And then I have to leave out of the house quickly because she don't want me up in there. I was like, what are they doing? Are they selling drugs? Like, I was even thinking, like, maybe they were cooking it up and selling it. Because that's when you'd really want somebody out of the house. And I was like, I don't effing know. I just know that there's conduct here that's really shady. And I really don't want any part of it. So, luckily, I'm not in the house. Does it sound like conspiracy theory, anything? No. I don't even know if they even brought up that she got arrested. That crap, seeing her get arrested is so crazy. Because again, if you read Lipstick Alley and what they said about her, everybody's like, she's so sweet. Everybody was like this. Like that girl got arrested for drugs, man. I was like, what in the hell? Yeah, it was weird. I was like, you just never know with people. But you would understand it if you were there long enough to see that other side of her. And then when that came up, I was like, wow, I'm not even shocked. I was like, not at all. It wasn't me, you guys. I was the one hanging out with LAPD here. And I don't trust any of that either. None of it, because they were there. And none of us got questioned. And I'm like, that's funny. LAPD was there for both things, like the killer and that girl. So I was like, I don't know, man. It was weird stuff. I mean, if they asked him, he would have been saying like she wouldn't come out. I don't even know if they talked. Like, there's just a weird thing about it because I remember him coming out. We just had to stand outside her door, like in the front part of the house, and we were just standing out talking, quite a few times. And he obviously, because he's a cop, he's looking around. I'm almost certain, like, if she got arrested from any of that, it was probably like maybe he's seen something and was like watching like what her bullshit is, and he was allowed inside. Like, my thing, he like knew that I don't do any of that stuff, nothing like that. Yeah, so the investigators go and question him into his relationship with me, and I was like, yeah, you guys need to figure this out. Like, why are these officers like befriending me to begin with? And then as they're around, like, all these people are getting busted. I was like, you guys shouldn't hang out with me. I don't even know what the hell's going on here. And it has nothing to do with me. Like, I'm not getting anybody, but I didn't even know this was even going on. And it threw me off because I was like, I'm always out here and I've seen every neighbor, and at no time did I see any weird conduct going in and out there. It doesn't mean it wasn't happening. It's just that when I'm there, I see, oh, this dude has a trailer on the corner, and there's like a family over here, and then an elderly family next door, or something like that. And it was reasonably quiet. Like, it was really quiet. So I was like, yeah, there must be some other bullshit that went on in that story, because it's not like, and they could have done it around the bend where, from the direction I'm looking, that I don't see it, but he was looking, I swear to God, I remember this so well because I was talking to him and he's looking over like my shoulder area where that house would be. But I didn't pay attention. I mean, you're not thinking anything like that. And then one day, all of a sudden, you hear boom, and I'm like, "What in the hell?" Yeah, they don't even care. I'm right there, up in there with a fucking army tank and blowing up the place on the damn cul-de-sac. And I'm just like, okay, it's one thing to go bust this guy, but is this necessary? No. And then she's acting even more weird. I think okay, well, obviously the after hindsight thing, because I didn't know she was, we kind of suspect maybe she was doing drugs, but there's no proof of it, right? She wasn't arrested yet or anything. And LAP keeps coming over, right? And it's freaking her the hell out, I'm sure. And she was acting ultra paranoid and really strange, just like overly nervous and weird. And then when she told me, she's like, oh, my mom died, and they called her crazy and everything else like that, and then they didn't listen to her and she died. And then but this lady on Lipstick Alley is saying the mom was there, and I'm like, well, she told me she died, so either you got it wrong and that wasn't the mom she's talking about, or she just full blown made up a story. Like, I don't know. Is she just trying to get rid of me or something? I mean, I don't know. Like, she didn't say, yeah, I don't know. It could. Because she was psychotic right there. That's why she died. That's what I'm saying. I go, there's a spiraling moment here from that year portion. And it's a year. It was a year in. When did I go over there? I went over there in 2006. Yeah, 2006, and I end up leaving towards the end of '07. Yeah, because we were trying. I was so ill. Like, there was no, I wasn't gonna stay there that long, but she was totally fine with it. Mostly when you're getting your yard and everything taken care of and everything else. But she, throughout this portion, was just going cuckoo, and I don't even want to. I didn't want to be there because I was like, she's so mean. I can't even go in the house, and then but she lets other people in the house, right? Like, why is she not letting me in the house? So I was kind of concerned that they were involved in some illegal activity, and I was like, honestly, yeah, I mean, she's being mean. So yeah, it's difficult because I was going in and out of the ER, trying to get checked out properly with that other girl's bullshit. So different one. So yeah, I kept going and I kept getting more and more sick, and the officers coming over chronically too. So I was like, yeah, you just go in the story and it's just dark, 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 unanswered for, dark, 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 no one questioned us, dark, dark, dark. You know what I mean? It's just all kinds of wrong. But they go and ask him some bullshit, and they're like, he's totally fine. I was like, I don't know if he's totally fine. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if he's totally fine. I question, like, why is he befriending me to begin with? I wouldn't say that that's totally fine. Um, in the overall story. So, but they know I didn't do anything wrong. But that's the truth of it. So I didn't do anything wrong. I was like, what is he gonna say? Let's say he's like trying to harm me in some way. He's gonna literally tell the investigators, oh yeah, I totally was like trying to target her for some bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. I go, you outed that I reported that to him, and then they're like, he's totally fine. I'm like, this is just weird. The whole like, but they didn't ask, like, why didn't they talk to us about her death, me and him? You don't think it's relevant that I seen suspects in her home every night? Did they report her death? It doesn't sound like it. I'm far gone. Thankfully, I'm totally in. I think I was in like Covina, when this is going on. So I went to look online like after the fact, and I go, wow, she's not at her job. Maybe she got all that money from her mom's death, and then went on a whole like shebangy with it. Yeah, I totally. I was like somewhere else with the story. And so for years, I'm thinking, oh, she quit. She went, maybe she took the money and went to another country. Who the hell knows what hell she did? I was so mad over here, though. And then I find out that, and I go, oh yeah, I guess that's where it would land at the other part of it. Yeah, it's a hot mess, you guys. The whole thing is. Yeah, but they didn't question me. Nobody even told me they died. So up until I was in Van Nuys and living in that house by myself. So I had that little tiny house that I was renting. And some guy I contacted within the community, and they go, oh, that's so messed up what happened to John. I go, what are you talking about? And all these deaths happened. It was like the perpetrator died. I find out he died a year prior. My evil grandma dies. Ronnie dies. And then all of a sudden they tell me this crap. And I'm like, what? And yeah, it was really chaotic at this moment. It was really a hot mess right here in this moment. Because I find out my perpetrator died a year before, and I'm still going on, like he's alive, and, going off and off and off. And I go, how bizarre. Nobody told me that. And then this thing, but they didn't mention the other thing. And everybody knew I was staying. Well, a lot of people knew I was staying over there. And I'm surprised that nobody asked me questions. Like, wouldn't you ask me questions? Weren't you there? I was like, yeah, I was there up until a point. And then she made me leave. Her dad did, mainly. And so I took off. And then all the horrible stuff you heard about the rich men, they were trying to send me to the billionaire's house. They were trying to send me to the billionaire's house. And then this is allegedly around, I don't know, in this frame of time, in between this whole like shebangy. And no, I mean, luckily, I have an alibi. I'm like, I have an alibi, but I'm tripped out on it because everybody knew I was there. And then nobody came and questioned me. And you would think you would question me because if I had any other information, which I do. I believe I do, mostly with these girls. I go, well, they said that they came in and they said they didn't go to work. And then somebody came to her house and they found her dead in the bathtub. And I go, oh no, there's these girls that are in her house every night with her because they party it up every night. Like, it was totally that, you guys. And the girls at work don't know those girls. As far as I know of, they don't know those girls because I don't know those girls. And they couldn't even ask the cop that because the cop wouldn't even have known that. He would have known the daytime stuff, but he wouldn't know the evening activity unless he was out here perching and watching it. Then I'd be creeped out by him stalking. I mean, there would be a whole other thing here too. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There was a lot of weirdness in that thing, and I was surprised to read it on Lipstick Alley because it's not like it's a public case, like, per se, except for the murder made the media, but her case, no, like, nobody knows who she is. So they went on this whole thing about it. And I was like, wow, okay, well, I got to give you the lowdown on it because they seem really clueless what the hell was going on over there. It's bad and fishy because I'm a survivor of that rich camp, and that this contact with officers befriending me and doing crap, I believe, started after I spoke out on it. Then it became when I report. Okay, so when I reported the missing guy in the other case that's connected to that other human trafficking ring, the detective was telling me, he's all, if you ever need anything, give me a call. And it always, I don't know the feeling about that. But anyway, so I tried to call him to report further stuff, right? Like, because this conduct and everything. I hadn't yet reported the human trafficking ring. So I had just went in to report some of the conduct because this is how we were in that position to begin with the missing guy. And I couldn't quite tell the story the way that it actually was because then it brings in, oh, here's a human trafficking ring. And then I'm going to end up putting my safety at risk because in that was the LASD gang members. And that is going to go into another area. And so we didn't go into that deep thing. So it was easy just to say, oh, this is my boyfriend and he went missing. But that's actually not the truth of the story. He's a boy and he was a friend. So I was like, that's really where it was. And I wouldn't even call him as a friend. They were trying to help me away from that. And then they had some problems, obviously. I'm really mad about the story, though, too, on that thing. Because they suckered me into, oh, this is going to be help and we're going to do this. And then the next thing you know, he takes 20 grand from some girl and he goes missing. And I'm like, well, what the hell? And so if we deal with this area here, it gets really, it would just become another thing. And they probably would have viewed me anyway at that time as somebody partaking, even though I didn't. And it's very verified that I did not, mostly online. So I did not. I'm just sort of like, you could call it like, somebody that's in the mix of things and they're ratting out all the bad guys. And kind of that's what was happening. And so I was like, yeah, they were exposing their network to me. I find to be really bizarre because I never partook in their evil, right? Like I never took off with the I never did the things that they were trying to set up. And so the level of trust in that is just really like nobody cares. I mean, it can't be because they think that I would keep a secret because the way they're talking about it is just so nonchalant. It's like, oh yeah, and then we got this private member thing and they give us $1,000 and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know why they're telling me all that. And nobody else seems to know all that except for me. So they're laying down. It also feels like a setup because it almost feels like as they're laying down private information to me, is like if somebody rats, then maybe they would know directly it was me. It's really weird, like the way that they were laying out like their criminal activity. But then I ask other girls and they're like, I didn't even know that. I don't know that. I never even seen that. I never did this. I never did that. But yet LA Times is there to verify that, yes, they did do some of these things because they were talking about giving them money. And I go, yeah, so it's verified. They did do that. And apparently these girls don't know shit. Just like the John and Church story. I was like, yeah, that one, you guys, that's not good. It was not good. It was really bad and filthy. There's blackmail, there's drugs, there's shit. We got cops up in here that have been questioned. Uh yeah, it's not conspiracy at all. It's a dark hole of really bad people. And but that wasn't my choice. That was because when I was living with LAPD, a different officer, here's another officer. So when I was living with another officer, when they lured me to move in, they got it where I had to move out quickly. And then when not legally, like legally, they had no ground to do anything. It's just that they were harassing me so bad with tons of officers down the way that I have to go to work. They were disrupting my sleep, just a number of things. So, and they got kind of scary there, you know what I mean, going on like this. So they were doing illegal searches in my bedroom, and then the people I called came in and told them they need to stop or they were going to get arrested. Not me, but they were going to get arrested. And then they never actually arrested anybody. So then I leave and I move into an illegal house, and then they all kind of transpire to throw me this whole other thing. So then I temporarily have to stay at my job, and then they decide they're going to tell me what to do, and I'm going to go over here. So that's kind of how that happened. And that's also another form of what you could call trafficking a human. That was not my choice. He just out of nowhere goes, you know what? You need to go somewhere else. And I was like, well, you told me over here. So it's like, in the meantime, I have to try to deal with these people. So I don't know how to get the legal for it at the time, where to report these guys, because where I was staying with the John guy, the department that oversaw that was the Grim Reapers. What am I supposed to do? They're the gang members. So I was like, well, and I didn't know that at the time, but that's exactly who it was. And I was like, yeah, I can't go anywhere because these guys are blocking anything. So where do you go, right? Where do you go? We're not even thinking FBI at the moment. We're just like, where do you go? Because the string of conduct is beyond me just telling an investigator they're doing that, right? Because they cover it up for them. Because they're in the department there. So I was like, yeah, they're not doing anything. So that would be under Beck. So Beck was cuddling it up. I mean, that's just the truth of it. So when you get the Jeffrey Epstein in the story, then they just throw it out a window. Oh, these women just want our money. Okay, so they're piggish friggin' mentality, right? Oh, we all do that. We all want, like, these girls. They just, they just want some money because they got billions of dollars. That was them. 1,000% that was them. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, but they're out here preying on girls in a human trafficking ring, and we need to, something I didn't want to get involved in. I knew about it, and I was like, that one, because if I go report it, and they leak it, then I put myself at risk for more targets, which I did. That ends up happening eventually. But I was like, yeah, I put myself at risk for targets, and they're going to try to off me or some shit. And sure enough, we end up in these situations, and I go, yeah, it just confirms what I already knew, or thought to know. DOJ. And DOJ just want to throw it off. I go, well, there's nothing I could do. DOJ want to be corrupt like that. They were corrupt like that under Obama. So they were corrupt like that probably pre-Obama, like just the entire span there. So it's not like, oh, Trump got in and all of a sudden they're corrupt. I was like, no. When I called, they were like, if we find it as being an importance, we'll give you calls back. And it's just like, what? You wouldn't think that this is important. You don't think it's important? Like, it's very important. It's not just, oh, cops rape. I mean, you're talking about covering up and blocking for rich men and their conduct, and shit, running a drug ring. That was another one of them. And I'm like, can you explain this to me, why it wouldn't be of importance to the Department of Justice? Look at me saying they don't deal with murder at the Justice. It was a Justice Department. There's a different thing. So there's like a Justice. I don't even understand the difference between these things here, but so one was the DOJ, and then somehow I end up at Justice something, and they fling me out to some asshole agent because they're like, are they targeting you? I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe you guys should investigate that to figure that out because I can't tell you. It needs to be investigated. Well, I need to know because I need to know where to send you to. And it's like, I have no idea. It's like they're doing it. So I need to figure out this thing. So they transfer me to some asshole agent dude. And he's like, we don't deal with murder. I was like, I will never forget this. It was so awful, like what they did here. And so this is another government agency. And it was just like, I had enough with this kind of crap. And the stupid evil women that they have talking on the phone because FBI does it, LAPD does it, and the Justice Department does it, and the DOJ does it. And multiple times there's been women of color that they've been throwing on the phone to do this too. And I'm like, I think these women have some serious head issues. Like, I don't know what that is about. Like, they want to like get revenge on us or something from something in the past. Because I don't know who the hell would be okay in telling me that they don't care if I can't eat, which means I can die. And I'm like, I don't know where the hell, who raised you? Because you should never talk to anybody like that. I don't know, but that's what happened, you guys. And I'm just saying there's some like evil vindictiveness under the sun with some of these women that government hires to have them as the front person. So they're the person that when you call, before you could ever talk to like an agent, you have to deal with these assholes on the phone. And in LAPD, many times it means they got busted and they got thrown at phone duty and they're just pissed off at the world. But on these other ones, that's their job. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Who talks to people like this? They have an evil, vindictive thing going on. And then we get Karen, right? The mayor. I go, there's another one with head problems against women. I go, Karen and Kamala, because Kamala is the one that's supposed to get the paperwork. I cannot stress that enough. She was the one that's supposed to get the paperwork, and they're over here diverting, getting papers and everything because she want to run as a president and doing all kinds of crazy crap, and then targeting us in the middle of it and saying, go at this and that, but not them. I go, at no time did you see her pissed off about any corrupt sheriffs. She's over here promoting them. And I go, no, that conduct right there that you just said, I almost got killed by a similar thing. You know, jumping me out in the middle of the night, and I don't commit a crime, but they have me doing this, and then some guy could have picked us up, and he's like a drunk rapist or something. And I'm like, dude, why is this going on? Why is this going on? But she's over there okaying it. She's over there okaying it on women of color. And I go, well, you okayed it on her, so you okayed it on me. So it happened to me prior to the story that you're reading there. And so I'm trying to stress it. And then she goes and she hides it all. And I go, well, the fact that you hide it all then tells us a little bit more about your character, because you just want to get up in politics, and the truth about you is extraordinarily ugly. And I know who I was supposed to deal with. I could literally pull out the paperwork and show you her name slapped right on it. Me, a security risk. I don't work for the government. I am not a security risk. I don't know why that occurred, but I mean, I could look at it and figure out why they did it, but they're sitting there like, oh, because she's talking about government men being a bunch of rapist pedos, and that's a security alert for us because we're going to get outed. I mean, that would be the only reason under the sun anybody would ever try to pull that kind of crap. So government was trying to villainize me, a victim, a survivor, trying to go at this cult of rapist men. And it's a really dark story because you're talking about decades long of me trying to like chip at it, because it starts off thinking it's just this one guy. It wasn't. That's just the truth of it. It wasn't. And then their camp of clowns start getting arrested for having child porn, and I'm like, oh, that would have been bad because I was going to reach out to one of them. And yeah, and then they get in trouble. And then they want to make up shit. So after they get busted, the one guy was making up stuff. I don't know if Jeffrey Jones would like speak out. I would have a sit down with that fool, because we already know what he did. He already got in trouble for it. And he's the only one that actually was like the fall guy in it. And I was like, you know what? Um, he might he might be honest about things. I mean, I don't know. I don't know him, but I would attempt to. I don't know if he knows the other guy. That's kind of what we wanted to know. And the law enforcement decided because the other guy went after girls that we'll just go after these two guys that go after little boys. I mean, it is so idiotic. It doesn't make any sense. That's the only reason why they went down. I mean, he didn't have the, I don't know, but Paul has a really he had a really powerful team of people. That was insane. I was like, I would never even have guessed that, but yeah, he did. I don't want to be known as a pedo, like on his deathbed. I was like, dude, you know what? I'm not here for these men and their bullshit. You get in trouble for it. We know the other guy's a pedo, and that's how you guys got along really well. That's why you would hire him. So I don't know, but then you see who did the movie, and then you watch him, and you see all the people in his crowd have all been with children, all of them. And I'm like, well, that's gonna tell you some more stuff, and the rabbit hole goes deep, and they're so evil. They're so evil. They're so mean. They're not. It's not even like we're these nice people and we're just trying to cover up in this thing. Oh no, no, they're so evil. They do horrible things to us, and the story's really bad. I mean, the story's really bad. That's not a conspiracy at all. You go take a look. We've been on the case because I'm in the case for a long time, and I'm looking at people. So I know like what their bullshit is, and if I see them up in the ring, then they're full of shit, that they're all involved. They're just all involved. That's just the truth of it. You just don't want to believe it. Maybe you want to be in denial city, or you just hate women so much that you would post things like this in the public. Why would you sit there and think it's funny if somebody had a stroke? How sick is that too, though? What if I did and they're making fun of it? It's just things like that. It's like these people are sick in the head. I don't know what universe you're in, and that's Christianity as a whole being a pile of shit.